Good day, emerging mothers. Good day, good day, good day. I pray that you all are doing well. You all caught me while I was just putting a little lotion on my hands. It's been since last week, of course, since I've, of course, come into the room. So much have transpired since then. And so, but listen, I know this for sure, that we are in the month of October, and we are mid to the latter part of October, and we know what's right around the corner, and that's November. We know that Thanksgiving is in November, and then right after that, it almost seems as though the accelerator is pushed, and then we're in the month of October, and so we know the holidays are before us. And something that's about to arrive is, for some of you, your teens have already transitioned out of the home and they will be back home for the holidays. For some of you, of course, your teens have yet to leave. And so your teens are already there and the holidays are upon us. And so they will have, many of you, you may have juniors or seniors, but they will be transitioning out, of course, next year. And then for some of you, of course, you're a little bit of both. You know, you have some teens there, you have some teens who have gone already. So you have a combination, if you will. But what I know for sure, for those of you who have teens who have already transitioned out, who will be coming back home, they'll be home, and you will probably be able to identify some newness to them. They will have matured and grown up in hopefully an amazing kind of way, and you're able to see some positive development as it pertains to your teens. But, you know, that happening. And then you have, of course, you know, other family who may be coming over for the holidays. And then you have all of the plans for the holidays. So that's what I'd like to talk about today is, you know, when a lot of these things take place all at once, especially while you're in the midst of experiencing newness. I mean, and then for those of you who have teens to leave prior to them leaving the home, of course, they're getting ready to leave next year. And so that's still a newness because it's the last of a number of things. It's the last time they'll, you know, experience, you know, the August, you know, at home, or September at home, because of course next year they will be off for the very first time, for those of you who have seniors this year. So lots of newness going on. But for this particular holiday, I wanted to talk about that anxiety that sets in when we're experiencing newness, you know, with these college teens coming back home, or college teens getting ready to leave, or a combination of both of them. And so I know we've talked about anxiety before, but we've just talked about it in general. So this particular time, I'd like to talk about it from the angle of the holidays approaching, and teens, you know, coming home, or teens, you know, in their final year of high school, and you know, they're trying to like grow into themselves and become a little bit more independent, and what that whole things look like. What the whole anxiety piece looks like. And some of you may remember, anxiety is that condition that's not necessarily developed as a result of one individual factor. It could be, you know, from a number of different things. And, you know, it plays a role based off of our personality. It could be the result of difficulties that have been experienced in life, or our physical health, a number of things. And I'll talk just a little bit about some triggers and what kind of even triggers this as well. But that's what it is. It's a condition. And the interesting thing is that it can be a genetic disposition. It could be something that's, of course, derived from, you know, another close family member or relative may have experienced anxiety. It could be a health condition, mental health condition, or, you know, over time, some people, you know, can develop anxiety. And so what I want to do, on this in this particular live is just talk about just some of the stressful events that take place that make some people experience anxiety. And then what I'd like to do is I'd like to share maybe some things that we would want to consider when our teen comes home, some things that we may want to avoid when our teen comes home, etc. Just so that we are aware not only how we're feeling and what we're thinking, but of course what they're feeling and what they're thinking as well. You know, and I'll talk about this towards the latter part of today's live. You know, something that can help to ignite a little bit of anxiety is when, like, say for instance, if our teen is away and then they come home and they see that there's something different or that it's changed in the household. Like, say for instance, they've gone off and then they come back home and they notice that, like, you've changed their room. And their room is now, the sewing machine is in there, or maybe you've turned the room into a gym. You know, that's a concern of most teens when they leave home, is because there was a research done, and the research mentions that, when they come home and things are different, like for instance, they have a different place to sleep, then that can make a teen feel a certain kind of way. So when we talk about situations and circumstances that could be stressful and cause teens anxiety, that's one of them, that there's a change in their living arrangements. Or maybe there is a problem as far as maybe some family relationships are concerned. Maybe there's some issues between their mom or dad. Maybe there's some issues between them and their siblings, and there's some conflict that's taking place there. You know, maybe there's a traumatic or stressful event that causes them emotional shock. That can cause, of course, anxiety. Maybe the passing of a loved one. That can cause anxiety. A lot of different circumstances and situations can cause teens anxiety. So I just want to bring this to the forefront, just so there can be some type of awareness as they're coming back into the home, or as the teen is leaving the home even, then of course it can trigger some type of anxiety. You know, there is a manuscript, if you will, in the National Library of Medicine. And the title of this manuscript is Interactions Between Anxiety Subtypes, also Personality Characteristics, and Emotional Regulation Skills as Predictors of Future Work Outcomes. And this manuscript was a collaboration, if you will, between authors 𝙤𝙤𝙧𝙚, also Joseph Allen, Joseph Tan, also Rachel Nahr, and then also David Weibo. And what this research suggests is that people with certain personality traits are more likely to have anxiety. So say, for instance, if your personality type is that of a perfectionist, then of course you're more prone to experience anxiety. Or say, for instance, if you're the type of person who gets easily flustered, or if you possibly lack self-esteem, then that can cause some level of anxiety. The leveling of anxiety, it can be developed during your childhood, during your adolescence, and then also during your adult years as well. So, you know, as opposed to tagging one particular time frame or stage of life where it can develop, it really can develop, of course, in any of those different stages of life. So let's talk about this for just a second. So if we are thinking about our teens coming home, then and you know what, this is what I did, because I wanted to get all of the dental appointments, the doctor's appointments. I wanted to just get all of those things out of the way. However, I'm uncertain if that's the best approach. I would, in hindsight, I will allow my teens to come home and just, you know, take some day. Listen, the holiday breaks, I mean, they're a length of time. And so let's allow them to unwind for a few days first. You know, take a nap, hang out with a few friends, etc. And allow for there to be a couple of days that have passed prior to going straight into orthodontics and the dental appointments and the making sure that they have their checkups and all of that, I would allow for a couple of dates first prior to jumping right into that after they have unwind. Please, emerging mothers, if you will allow that to happen, that would be great. And then also, this is what I would, and I avoided doing this, but I would refrain also, secondly, I would refrain from making comments, especially repeated comments about my daughter's appearance. I avoided doing that. Now she had enough other maybe family members or friends who were maybe mentioning that she had picked up a few pounds while she was away at school and they were noticeable. I avoided saying anything, as a matter of fact. And when I think about it, and it's so interesting that, here it is, our teens will have the pressures of school and then them, trying to actually locate themselves and settle in and because it's only been a few months, mind you, prior to the holidays approaching. It's only been, August, September, October, and then the holidays. So, they have been, meeting new people, adjusting to their professors. They have been finding their way around and becoming comfortable with themselves. Absolutely, it can happen. Whereas I even gained a few pounds when I was in undergrad. Well, I was already kind of, a little thick anyway, but nonetheless, I had definitely put on more pounds. But when I think about where my oldest daughter attended school, I mean, she, it's on paper and it's researched that Virginia Tech is an engineering focused school, and by golly, they are one of the best. However, many of you would be surprised that that Virginia Tech in 2019 was rated as the #1 best college food in America. Now listen, little did I know that when we were doing our major research. I think I found that out like a few weeks prior to her going off to Virginia Tech. Not that that would have changed anything because she was like focused and geared and to heading to Blacksburg, but they're the #1 college food in America. I should have known that, with 47 dining venues in 11 different locations across and near campus, etc. And so they're consistently recognized as the best campus food in the country. I should have known. They even had in 2022 a culinary camp, and that filled up immediately. I should have known something. And then it's so interesting because they have a program at the school, whereas you can actually earn a bachelor's degree in food science and technology is what this degree is called. I'm just giving you all a heads up. So, if your teens go off to college, especially Virginia Tech, there could be a couple of extra pounds added. And so, my goodness gracious, it's a challenge for me to think that it wouldn't be added given all of that whole food piece that's there on the campus. So that's #2. #3 is initiate conversation, of course, as it pertains to them, and I spoke just a little bit about this, when they arrive home, if something has changed in the household, you'll want to let them know that before they arrive home. So if you'll please do that, that would be very, very good, because of course it could possibly take a toll on their mental, and that's the last thing we want to do. We want to trigger absolutely nothing. So let them know if something has changed at home. Let them know before they arrive home, just so they can prepare for that. That's going to be very, very important. And then fourth, last but not least, fourth is to process the fact that your teen is changing in a unique kind of way, and hopefully a mature kind of way. Know that when they come home, will they want to actually settle in, settle down? We want them to unwind, but your teen could be the one where as they come in and they want to go out and see family members, and your front door is revolving, or they want to meet up with their high school friends or these new college friends that they've met. Your teen could also, considering the fact that they have matured they are maturing and they are changing, they may after all find themselves keeping their late night hours, and those quiet teens that you allow to leave your home, they can come back with a heightened volume to their vocals. So they may be a little loud these days. They've been hanging with friends. And then, because I know for a fact that my oldest, she went away, and then of course she came back and had matured and developed, and of course she had just transitioned into her own, and it was a beauty to see, I'm telling you. But by all intents and purposes, she had changed. She was different. And so my second daughter, who went off and came back home, then she had matured as well, and so it's a beauty to watch. So I want to conclude with this, is just sharing some ways in which, when this happens and the holidays approach and your teens are returning home, or your teens are at home and, the holidays are quickly here, some ways that we can help, that will help to reduce anxiety, is to make sure that we're facing our fears to the point that we do not fear anymore, especially as it pertains to the particular matter that was that had us in fear initially. Listen, even scripture says in Isaiah 41:10, do not fear. Some translations say, fear not, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am God. I will strengthen you and I will help you. So we want to make sure that we are not fearing absolutely one bit, not at all. He's going to take care of it all. And then also examine whatever we're in fear about, that we believe is fear, something that's putting us there in that place. Then we want to make sure that we examine the matter, take time to focus on it, and then take action in resolving it. And that's another remedy in reference to reducing anxiety. Also, exercise. Listen, even this morning, yesterday morning, of course, myself, my daughters, we were up about 4 a.m. and left home and about 4:30, arrived at the gym about 5 a.m. and we were exercising and moving our bodies and building muscle and toning and doing all of those things that are important for us and will help to reduce fear. Then also, we want to make sure that we relax when we need to relax. When the body's tired, or when we feel as though, we may come home overwhelmed from the day, or whatever it may be. We want to make sure that we're relaxing and resting our body. Then also, we want to make sure we are practicing gratitude. Gratitude is so important. And so let's maybe find ourselves a devotional and begin journaling in that devotional. Or maybe not, if maybe the devotional is far from being your thing, at least a book where you're writing down your thoughts. And then there could be some other ways in which you, of course, reduce anxiety. And if there are, feel free to drop them in the chat. They can help some other emerging mothers. Listen, right now, I am in the process of creating a course, if you will. And so I will be telling you all more about that course, because for some of you, of course, whose teens have yet to transition, this will help to prepare you. And for some of you whereas your teens have transitioned already, then this will be a course. There will be a course where you're able to still manage that relationship even while they're away. They may come back home, but guess what? Position with an employer could have them elsewhere, but managing that relationship will be key. Listen, love you all. I appreciate you tuning in. Drop in the chat for myself and other mothers to see how you go about reducing anxiety. Again, thank you so much. Love you. Take care, and I will chat and see you soon. Bye.